Today's topic, is it okay to thumbs up this video after only watching it once?
Welcome to TABLEscraps, short discussions about board, card, and tabletop gaming, submitted by the viewing audience and discussed with the viewing audience.
Hey there everyone, and welcome back to another episode of TABLEscraps, the show where I discuss a topic about board, card, and tabletop gaming with the live streaming YouTube chat. And as always, today's topic is provided by the live chat audience as well. Today's topic of discussion comes from viewer Lucas Morão, who says, is it right to rate a game based on just a couple of plays? I see geek lists all the time and something caught my eye. I've seen a lot of #1 games that are played 2 or 3 times, even games that can take 3 or 4 hours. Is it really fair to rate a board game so high, disregarding the possible echo chamber effect or maybe 2 plays with the same group, within the same time frame of your life, etc.? A preview or first thoughts, sure, but a score and the #1 or #2, whatever spot? Oh, controversy. All right, here we go, Lucas. Well, I guess to answer the crux of your question, my thought is, yeah, I think that can be totally fair. I mean, there's a difference here. I mean, is the ranking, everybody's ranking of a game is subjective. So in and of itself, at its core, a game's rank has to be your own subjective ranking of how it applies to you. I mean, you are the only one who can formulate your own opinion of a game. Now, that said, you can try to be as fair and balanced as possible, which you should, of course. But I don't think that that requires playing a game a dozen times or so. I think it's possible to really get a feel for how you feel about a game after one play. Sure. I mean, here's the analogy that I use when I think about it. You can watch a movie, and after the first watching of a movie, you can figure out whether or not you like or dislike a movie and for what reasons. You may not be able to write a comprehensive review of it or, really analyze it. That might require subsequent reviewings and stuff. And then you should, if you're going to delve into that sort of analytical review of it and dissection of it. Yeah. But if you're just trying to say, whether you like the movie or not, one viewing, I think, is plenty to formulate that opinion. And I think it's even possible to say, this is my favorite movie. This is my favorite movie of all time. And come to that sort of ranking decision after a single viewing as well. I think that train of thought towards movies can be applied to games as well, because they're both forms of entertainment and they're both the things that people do enjoy and can rank. Now, again, I want to just reiterate real quick before I go to the chat that I think there is a difference between saying whether you like or disliked the experience of playing the game and what your rank is and how you would rank it in the best games of all time versus trying to make an analytical dissection and review of the game and its mechanisms. I think making some sort of review that's in depth probably requires looking at it more than just one play, sure, but there you go. There's my take on this issue, Lucas. So let's go over to the live streaming chat and see what the others in the chat are having to say on the subject. Let's start off today with the comment from Toyota Wolf, who says, I don't think it's bad to rate a game on very few plays, but I think you should play it with different people first. I hated Gloomhaven with one group, and I am mad enjoying it with my current group. That's interesting, and something I totally glossed over almost on purpose there, Toyota. You said that you played it with one group and hated it and didn't with other. Now, they say that hell is other people, and sometimes gaming hell is other people as well. The question I want to pose to you, Toyota, and everyone else is, do you think that even when you are playing with another group that ruins the gaming experience for you and makes you not like a game, do you think that you're still able to see whether on your own if you liked the game or not? Or do you think that the group you're playing with has that much sway over us that it could ruin a game that we would have otherwise liked given the chance to play with others? I don't know. So that's something I'm actually a legitimate question I'm posing to the chat. I would like to hope that as gamers, we have the ability to say, well, the group ruined this game for me, but I think there's still a nugget in there I would enjoy. And obviously, Toyota, for you, you played the game again with a different group. So you saw something in the game that you wanted to try again. So I'm wondering, how important is it to play with multiple groups? Does the group have enough sway to give us a false negative on a game? Let me know in the chat or the comments below. Let's see. Let's continue on to the next comment from Trevon, who says, it depends on your experience level. If you've played enough and have enough experience in the arena, you can tell quickly whether there's something there or not. I can see that. I can, because we talk a lot about how a lot of board gamers are on a journey in a way, coming in through a gateway game and discovering new genres and mechanisms and really discovering gaming in that way and how it kind of unfolds for them as they discover, new aspects of it. But I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a minute. Does it really depend on your experience level? I mean, let's go back to the movie analogy again. I mean, do we tell people you can't rate a movie unless you have watched a whole bunch of historical films? It's like, no, but we tell people with movies, did you like that? Thumbs up, thumbs down. What'd you think? And we don't expect them to have some sort of cinematic education as their backing. So I wonder why we perceive games differently than that, because again, they're just activities. Let's expand on that if you want in the comments or the chat. I'd like to know what you think about that as well. In the meantime, we're going to continue on to Christopher, who says, it takes only one sip of wine to know if it's a good bottle. If you enjoyed playing a game, it's not faulting you for rating it. There we go. Taking the movie analogy and now comparing games also to a nice fine wine. I'm wondering now if that's a good comment or just sour grapes. Oh, that was not worth it. There's another example of taking this rating of games and comparing it to rating other things. Do games stand alone as their own unique thing that they needed to be rated and have a certain approach to rating that's different than rating other things? Or is it like movies and wines and TV shows and games all together in one way, and you don't need special rules for rating them? Christopher suggests it's the latter. Let's continue on to a comment from David, who says, you can argue that it depends on your role in the industry, i.e. reviewers. For the layman like me, you might as well if it's fair for me to enjoy a game on my first play. I think that anyone who wants to become kind of a voice in the community, a public figure almost, as it were, a blabbermouth on YouTube about board games, I think that there are certain higher standards that they need to hold themselves to when they start talking about rating and ranking games. Yeah, I totally think that reviewers have to be held to a higher standard because we have things that, the words that we put out there on the internet are going to be out there and affect a lot of people for a very long time. Okay, let's continue on to a comment from Peter, who says, no issues rating a game after a couple of plays, especially if you're familiar with games and games of that type. Sometimes you just know what you like and what you don't. There we go with another comment in the camp of, yeah, it's okay after a couple of plays, as long as you feel you know what you like. Totally agree, and I don't think that there is anything detrimental in that approach. Let's continue on with Trevon, who says, even if I don't like something on the first play, I can tell whether I may like it on future subsequent plays or not. Some games I know I'll never even play again after one play. I wonder if that is an ability that comes with experience. Is it because you've played enough games, or is it because, no, it's just like movies. If I come in and I see this and it's the first movie I've ever seen, boom, I can tell if I like this or not. Is it the same with games? You can tell, no, I'm never going to like this game. Or is it something where it's like, well, compared to my history playing a bunch of Euros and Ameritrash hybrids, I can tell that this has the potential to have some good worker placement mechanics. What is the underlying qualification for a gamer to be able to legitimately say, yes, I can tell on the first play if I'm going to like something? Kabuki says, you like a game or you don't. You compare it to other games that you've played. And, that's what humans do. Compare things to other things that we know. It all makes sense. That is true. That is kind of the way that we are wired. We're wired to make those sorts of connections. So perhaps forcing people to play multiple games is an inhuman thing to try. And we need these board game defenders to come in and make sure these people don't just cross off games like some sort of X-Man. So yeah, I think that's totally approach to go there, and I marvel at your response. Sorry. Trevon also adds, get enough experience and you can tell from a rule book alone with 80% accuracy. Oh, no you didn't, Trevon. Now we're getting somewhere. There's a point of contention. I've heard this argument before where people say, I can tell from reading the rule book if this is going to be a good game or not. And other people saying, no, rules are far enough removed and abstracted from the gaming experience that you have to sit down and play the game in order to formulate a real opinion of it. So I've seen pretty heated discussions on this. Well, if not, I'm pretending. I can definitely see it in my imagination. I know enough to be able to imagine heated discussions about this. Do you agree with that? Do you think that a gamer can gain enough experience that being able to read the rulebook alone is enough to tell them about the quality of a game? And Trevon, when that happens, when you read the rulebook and you decide that you're not going to play the game based on what you've read in the rulebook, do you feel you've garnered enough information to still go on BGG and rank it? That's what I want to know. Ow. Steven joins us to say, I think Chaz makes a good point. One play for rating? Sure. One play for review? Not so much. Steven, thank you for having my back on that. And I think I'm going to leave this in the edited version because I can. Kabuki says, there is an issue on BGG of people gaming the system by giving false ratings simply because they don't feel a game deserves to be highly rated, so they give it an artificial 1 rating. There are outliers though, so it isn't as significant as people fear they are. That's a really good point. I made a video once about the board game police when Pandemic Legacy came out. Oh my gosh, I remember the uproar about Pandemic Legacy. People were just having a fit sometimes that they didn't like the idea of a legacy game for Pandemic. So they were going in and artificially giving it ratings of 1 to combat the high rankings that other people were giving it because they didn't like the idea of the game. Totally ridiculous. Totally just dumb thing to do. I said it. Totally unwise thing to do for the sake of our hobby. You're not saving anything. Hopefully over time, those ratings, even out again. And I think though, the important thing is to keep the perspective. I think it's okay to go in and rate the game on BGG after a single play if you feel that you've gotten a comprehensive feel for it. But I don't think it's okay to go into BGG to rate a game to fix its rating system. You're not balancing out anything. You're just being an annoyance on the internet. Axentroll says, a single play can give you a lot of information about mechanics, strategies, and play feel. And you will also quickly find out if you like the components and the board layout. Totally. Yeah, again, as long as you're paying attention while you're playing and not on your phone. Yeah, I think a single play does certainly have the potential to provide all those things that you need in order to make a comprehensive, fair assessment of a game. But you know what's not fair is the fact that we're out of time already for this episode. So I want to thank everyone who has been with me in the chat today. And if you didn't get a chance to ask your question or catch us during the live stream, please feel free to continue this conversation in the comments below. Because episodes like this are made possible by viewers just like you who will participate in the comments and the live chat and who support the Pair of Dice Paradise Pod Pledge fundraising page. Thanks to everyone who's been supporting the channel. Every little bit helps and is greatly appreciated. Until the next time I get to appreciate you guys, I've been Chaz Marler, who, along with the YouTube live streaming chat, have been serving up some table scraps. Talk to you again soon. Lucas Morão, who says that something. He actually starts out by saying a bunch of other stuff. I wonder, is that something? No, not something. Let's actually use words. Oh, be quiet, error message. Kabuki says, you like a game or a don't? A donut. You like a donut or you don't, because it's like a game. You're not balancing out anything. You're just being an annoyance on the internet. Speaking of annoyance on the internet, I don't know where I was going with that.